We're going to do all the positive ones first, kind of like we did last time. That will help with grouping.
All right.
Okay, so again, same type of problem. You've got, it's not a 1 in front. That's a good, but you should first say, well, maybe there's a GCF for all three, and there's not. 2 and 5 and 3 are all different. So you start by multiplying the 2 and the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And now you need all the numbers that multiply to 6, but add up to 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So the looking for the one that add up to 5 is this one right here. So
Yeah.
this 5x is going to become 2x plus 3x. Bring the other terms down. And again, you look at the first two. First two, what is the GCF? It's the same as the last problem. 2x. So can you tell me what goes in parentheses?
2x. Plus.
Sorry, I was writing and I didn't mean to do that because you're dividing both of these by 2x, just like in the previous problem.
Oh yeah, so it would be x plus 1.
Good. And then you immediately write x plus 1, whatever's inside parentheses, you write over here to the right. And then you figure out, well, what goes here such that when you multiply in, you get back to the previous line. And you really look at the constant, like what do you multiply 1 by to get positive 3?
3.
Plus 3. So just like in the previous problem, now you have 2 x plus 1s, 2 things inside parentheses that are exactly the same. So you essentially take those out, and then whatever's left over,
Yeah.
okay, are we missing, like, is there a 4, 5, 6, 7, or is that just curious on the assignment, like pictures you sent?
Let me see. Oh, that's weird. There isn't.
Yeah, that's okay. Now just another point here is the order doesn't matter. So like if you wrote 2x plus 3 times x plus 1, because sometimes people see things differently. In fact, that's very common. That's okay too. So let's look at 20 next. Oops, sorry, that is not right. I don't want us to look at 20 next. I want us to look at 28 next. I want to do all the positive ones first because it'll be the easiest to understand, and then the other ones are incrementally more difficult. So again, there are none of these have a GCF, but I'm going to keep saying this because on a test you might see one with a GCF, and you should always do that first. Since they don't, you have to take this 7 and 10 and multiply them. So that's 70. So now you need two numbers that multiply to 70, but add up to 219. Now you said you're allowed to use a calculator. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had a calculator, you would take 70 divided by 1, 70 divided by 2, 70 divided by 3. 3 doesn't work. 3 is a decimal. 70 divided by 4, again, doesn't work. 70 divided by 5 does work. That's 14. 70 divided by 6 does not work, but 7 does. Okay, so you just sit there and you keep dividing, and then you stop. Like if you go to 8, you find that 8 doesn't work, 9 doesn't work. You stop when you wrap around to the other side. Like basically you eventually hit a number on the other side there. But you probably noticed that these add up to 19. Now, which would be better, to go 14y plus 5y or 5y plus 14y in your opinion? So it sounds like you're not sure. bring the 7y squared down. Now, which kind of looks better to your eye? Plus 14y or plus 5y?
Plus 14y.
Yeah. So the order doesn't matter there either. Like you get to choose that, and you should pick the one that kind of matches your, your eye, what appeals to you. Okay, so what is the GCF between 7y squared and 14y?
7.
7, anything else?
7y.
Okay. So what goes in parentheses?
Y plus 2.
Yes. And then you immediately write that over here. Then you got to figure out what goes in front of it such that when you multiply in, you get back to the previous line. Probably a good idea to focus on the constant.
5.
5. Okay, plus 5. And you want to write the operator there too. So this becomes y plus 2 times 7y plus 5. Any
Starting to
questions?
make sense.
Yeah, so here's one for you to try on your own. Okay, it's exactly the same as the others, just different numbers, same recipe, steps. It's good for you to try it and ask questions along the way if you're not sure about anything.
Yes.
Any questions on this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, I got x plus 5 in parentheses. And 3x plus 2.
Okay, that sounds correct. Let me just show you that if you do it, because you probably use 15 and 2x. Let's say you went 2x plus 15x here. It still works. So the GCF is x, and this becomes 3x plus 2. And you still write 3x plus 2, not 5. And then you put a plus 5 here. So you still get x plus 5, 3x. plus 2. Good. Okay, so any questions on that or any, any concerns?
Not really.
Okay, so 46 is just like it, and 55 is just like it, and 56 and 57. Okay, so how I'm determining that is just like we talked about last time. There's all these different cases. There's plus, plus, minus, plus, and then some others. So we've done these. We're now going to look at these. All right. So what does that mean for you? It means we're going to look at number 11 next. And I would encourage you to try to do them on the exam like this. If you can notice any of these patterns, it really does help. So this is that minus plus. Okay. So you take the 3 and you multiply it by the 8, that's 24. And now you need two numbers that multiply to negative 10, but add up, I'm sorry, multiply to positive 24, but add up to negative 10. So if you do all the positive ones, none of these work. Okay, but if you make them both negative, they still multiply to positive 24, but one of them does add up to negative 10. So this becomes 3x squared minus 6x minus 4x plus 8. You look at the first two terms here again, find the GCF between them. So that's 3x. So it becomes x minus 2. You write x minus 2 here. Now, question for you, what goes in here such that when you multiply in, you get back to the previous line?
-4.
Minus 4. Now, it has to work for both. Like minus 4 times minus 2 gets you to 8. That's good. Minus 4 times x gets you to minus 4x. Has to work for both. So the answer becomes 3x minus 4, x minus 2. Okay, so we'll look at another one here together. So I'm drawn to 19 next. 19 is, if you need me to, I can always go back if you need me to write something down. For 19 though, I see it's a minus plus again. So these are, these are very repetitive. 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. So this time again, two numbers that multiply to 40 but add up to negative 22. You don't have to make the full list. You just have to give me the right number. What is that? What ends up being the two numbers here that multiply to 40 but add up to negative 22?
I don't know.
Say that again.
-20 and -2.
Yes. Okay, so we'll go 5x squared minus 20x minus 2x plus 8. What is the GCF between the 5x squared and the 20x?
5.
And?
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
5 x.
X, yeah. And it's okay. It's okay. There's two things I want to say. It's okay if you don't really understand it. I mean, I would like to clear that up, but like if they both have an X, you're definitely going to bring an X out. I feel like you're either unsure or disinterested, and that's okay if like this isn't very exciting. I'll just say that. But is it clear why an X comes out of both?
Yeah. It
Okay.
just took me a second to.
All right. I do my best here. I'm not a comedian, in math, but try to make this as entertaining as possible for the duration of this lesson. So what goes in here? Give me, tell me what.
Okay, so x, yeah, minus minus 4x. Just 4.
Just 4.
Just 4.
So whatever you have there immediately goes here. Okay, and then you got to figure out what goes between them.
Minus 2.
Minus 2. So this becomes x minus 4, 5x minus 2. It's very repetitive. All right, now have you try one here on your own. Have you try 29 here? I'll snip it in. It's just like the last two we've been doing. So please give that a try. Let me know if you have any questions along the way. Any questions for me? Any issues here?
Not yet.
Okay.
I got 7x minus 2 in parentheses and x minus 4.
Good. Really good. That's correct. Okay, so now, I keep talking about these idea of cases. So this is what I call case 2, what you've been doing, the minus plus. So let's see which other ones are like this. So like, let's see here. You just did 29, so 37 is like this. Just looking through the list, and that's it. Okay. The remainder of them are what I call this case 3, which is when the original problem is minus minus or plus minus. Okay, and the only distinction here is that the answer is going to have one positive and one negative in it, and we'll see that here after we do an example. So we'll go back and look at number 3 together. So again, notice how it's a plus and then a minus here. So you're going to multiply 2 times -6 this time. 2 times -6. That gives you -12. So we want to get 1, which means one of them's positive and one of them is negative. Now I'm just making the full list here because it really does help to illustrate it. You don't have to. I mean, I'd like you to, but you want the one that adds up to positive 1. And hopefully you see that it's this one here.
Yeah.
So just like before, you break it apart, and it makes sense to me to do 4n minus 3n like this. From here, it's the exact same problem we've been doing. GCF between the first two is 2n. You immediately write that here. Okay. Then what goes in the middle? Minus 3. Minus 3 times 2 gets you back to negative 6. So then you factor that out, n plus 2, 2n minus 3. And there you have it.
Yeah.
Right. The hardest part is probably what's over here on the right. All right, so let's look at number 10. Number 10 next. So first thing again is it's two negatives, or it's the plus negative, which ends up being the same. Again, notice in that previous answer you had 1 positive and 1 negative there.
Yeah.
One positive, 1 negative. That, so we're gonna get the same thing here. So this time you take 6 and multiply it by negative 10. It's negative 60. All right. So I think this is the hardest part. Two numbers that multiply to negative 60 but add to negative 7. I'll let you tell me those. You're welcome to use a calculator. Just want the right numbers there that go together. Do you have an answer for me?
I'm still searching my brain for
So you just go one by one,
times
like
tables of minus
60,
60.
60 divided by 1, and we can play with the signs later. By 3 is 20, 4 is 15, 5 is 12, 6 and 10. Now you can play with the signs later. What I mean is, like, you can look at these and be like, well, that one's positive, that one's negative, or vice versa. But they tend to be down here further on the list in general. So, like, is it negative 5 and positive 12, or is it positive 5 and negative 12? That's how you should be looking at it from here.
Negative 5.
It's got to add to
Negative
negative
12 and positive 5.
Yeah. So we'll go negative 12x plus 5x minus 10. So if you have a calculator, again, please use it. Like, I'm not anti-calculator. Just want you to get the right answers. Okay, what's the GCF between 6x squared and minus 12x?
Minus 2.
A little bit bigger. There's a larger number that goes in
Oh
both
wait, yeah,
6.
minus 6. That's
So you tend to leave it positive unless the leading one is negative. So in this case, it'd be 6x, x minus 2, x minus 2 plus 5. So then it's x minus 2 6x plus 5. So one thing you should notice is that as the numbers get bigger, like 6 and 10, as they get bigger, it's harder to find the combination. So just be aware that that's where you're really going to have the most trouble here. Let's have you try number 12 on your own. The numbers don't get too big on this one, so I think you can do it. Meaning I think you can do it without a lot of, uncertainty. So try that one out. You're trying to find two numbers that multiply to -36 but add up to -16. So give that a try. Let me know what you come up with.
So -18 and 2.
Yeah, so it's -18 and +2. Good. So keep going. See what you come up with.
Yeah, 3y minus 2 in parentheses and y minus 6 in parentheses.
So something's amiss here. They can't both be negative. So we'll look at that here together. Did you go 3y squared minus 18y plus 2y minus 12?
Yeah.
Okay. So 3y definitely comes out. So it's y minus 6, but this time looks like it's +2 that goes in there, not -2. So just a small little change on your answers there.
It's always the little things that mess me up.
That's a truth about life. It's always the thing you don't anticipate that ends up being something that matters. All right, we'll try another one here. It just, we're practicing for the exam, practicing so that you can get a good score on the exam, and it's okay if you make a few mistakes. So that was 12. Let's see here. Let's have you try 20 next. I snipped that one in earlier, but it was not the right one. So, and again, really got to get the first part right, the 4 times the -15. That sign always goes with it, so it's -60. So two numbers multiply to -60, but add up to 17. Give that a shot, see what you come up with.
I got 4x plus 3 in parentheses and x minus 5 in parentheses.
Okay, looking really good. You got the right signs. One's positive, one's negative. So what I'm looking for is I know that that first and that last, or I'm sorry, the two lasts give you that minus 15. So I'm just going to check the outer by foiling to minus 20x in the inner. And I agree that well, the problem is that gives you minus 17x. And we want positive 17x. So let's look here. What numbers did you choose? Was it, I know it was 20 and 3. Which one was negative? Which one was positive?
I did negative 3.
Okay. So we
Positive
go
20.
4x squared plus 20x minus 3 minus 15. Factor out a 4x from both, x plus 5. So this should be a minus 3 here. Again, just a little thing, right? Just a tiny little thing, and doesn't work out, but keep trying. You sometimes seeing your mistakes, you say, okay, it is so on the test, it would be as simple as just changing the signs from negative to positive here. If you were to check. So if you check it and you're like, oh, that's the wrong sign, you just switch them. I think I've asked this before, but just remind me, do you typically have some time at the end of your test to test the end of your test to check your answers?
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be a good exercise to do. All right, let's look at 21, sorry. Look at this together here. All right, so 5 times minus 14 is negative 70. So when I'm making the list here, one of the things that I'm doing is this one actually didn't have that many, is I'm looking for them to be 33 apart, that number there. Like 1 and 70 are 69 apart, 2 and 33 are 33 apart, 7 and 10 are 3 apart. So that number tells you how far apart they should be most of the time. And obviously this is the right combination. Now, is it negative 2 or positive 35 or positive 2 and negative 35?
Positive 2 and negative 35.
Yeah. So that's 5x squared. We'll go minus 35x plus 2x minus 14. 5x goes into both. So that becomes x minus 7, x minus 7. Tell me what goes in between them whenever you get caught up here. What number?
2. Positive 2.
And then x minus 7. Good. Just looking through the list here. All right. I'll have you try 38 here. Again, if you have questions, please ask, but give that a try.
I got 2x plus 5 in parentheses and x minus 3.
Okay, good. So like, here's what I'm noticing right away. I don't know if this is right or wrong yet. This is how I check. I noticed that positive 5 times minus 3 gives you that. That's a good start. The 2x times the x gives you the first one. So now it's just a matter of the outer, which is minus 6x, and the inner, positive 5x. Do those add up to negative 1x? And they do. Very good. All right, let's look at 39 here together. I don't think we've done 39 yet. All right, so 39 here, same style problem, very repetitive. 3 times minus 6 is minus 18. If you make the entire list, which isn't very long, you're looking for them to be 7 apart. That's the 2 and the 9. Because it's negative 9, positive 2. And so you separate them that way. Look at the first two terms here. 3x, x minus 3, x minus 3. What number goes in between those to gets in here to 2x minus 6?
2.
2 plus 2. So this becomes 3x plus 2, x minus 3. So let you get that down. Looks like you have a few left for homework. That last row kind of looks the worst because of the big numbers. But again, maybe just using that technique we just talked about, like 8 times 8 is 64. You want to use 1 and 64 to get back to the 65. 20 times 15 is 300. They've got to be 37 apart, which is pretty big. Like 2 and 150, 3 and 100. See how they're starting to get closer and closer together? 4 and 75, 5 and 60, 6 and 50. Like eventually they start converging on that. I believe it's 8. Maybe. I'm not sure, but that's how you do it. You get there and you're like, oh, they start converging on the actual the difference of 37 roughly. Or in this case, they have to add up to 37. So sorry, you just have to keep going on this list. I mean, you'll eventually get there. But that is all we have time for today. So I'm going to stop right here.